And boom, we should be all set. There we go. Going live on TikTok too. Awesome. So we are eyeballs deep in trying to change how politics work, working with 130 plus candidates, working with all of our members in Citizens Impeachment, and talking about impeachment all day, every day, constantly, to include talking to staffers from offices that just pretend they are absolutely clueless about how both the Constitution works and how their office and their power works. And who knows, maybe it's true, right? Maybe they have no idea what they are supposed to be doing in this job. It might be possible. Our job is to educate. Anyway, we talk about impeachment all day long, and it's so easy to get deep in the weeds. But talking to folks that are outside that day-to-day grind, that's a whole different experience. And I think you just visited your mom and had that conversation, right?
Yeah, I tried to lay out the full scope of everything that we were doing. I think maybe, and I should ask her, but I think maybe the thing that resonated the most was, one of the things she asked was like, well, are there any people in Congress you would keep? And I was like, not really. She's like, but what do you mean? And I was like, well, look, Mom, until we have a unanimous opposition party, they can all just go. Right. Mm-hmm. And no one's working to get a unanimous opposition party as far as we see, because they don't really talk to each other and work together. So once I explained to her that we likely would not have built the Courage Candidates Coalition if we had a unanimous opposition party, it seemed to click and make a little bit more sense, right? If all of the Dems were on the side and had literally forced votes on impeachment over the last 18 months or so, our battle would be more like, okay, we'll help to bring you some Republicans, like they always tell us, right? Like we would be fighting a whole different battle at this point if they all firmly stood up together and every single Democrat voted yes on impeachment. And the only reason it failed is because the Republicans blocked it, which is where this liberal conservative team politics banter is online all the time. Like, let's talk about how bad the Republicans are. And you shouldn't call out the Dems, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, look, people, we do not have a unanimous opposition. So in what world you're living that you think that there's like good guys with capes who are going to come in to save you? Well, they haven't proven that to us. They haven't proven to us that they can even work as a team. So here we are. And that did seem to click with her. She was like, okay, I think she's like, can you say this stuff on social media? And I was like, we do, Mom. We do.
We'll keep saying it.
We're trying. We're trying.
There's a lot of assumptions that go into this. There's a lot of assumptions that my specific guy is a good guy, or that they really are trying their hardest, or that their hands are tied and stuff. And I think it is really, really difficult for folks to wrap their heads around the idea that the people that are supposed to be defending them and the democracy simply do not want to do the work, or do not think it's worth doing this kind of work, right? Mm-hmm. I should have looked it up before we came on here, but right now Congress is voting on the War Powers Act again and again and again. And I think they're up to 11 votes at this point.
Right, so they can do that. Yeah, they can do that, but they can't go all the way to the vote for impeachment.
Yeah. And there's a clip floating around that kind of talks about like the enemy of the day, right? A couple days ago, Jared Golden from Maine made the news because he was the final vote that decided that the War Powers Act wasn't going to pass that time. It's not always Jared Golden casting the last vote, but this time it was.
Sure.
Because we need a villain to hate, right? And this guy is leaving Congress already. One of our Courage candidates, Paige, is running for his seat, and he has nothing to lose. Like, he could have just done the right thing, but for whatever reasons, whatever calculus, he decided to be that last vote and to take on that mantle of the enemy of the day for that vote. And this is something that is a way that Congress operates, right? They don't have the votes for this, so they're performatively putting people in that position to be the bad guy, right? Mm-hmm. You could do this with impeachment. It would be fine, right? But could you imagine the absolute explosive outrage if they brought articles of impeachment for obstruction of justice for, say, Epstein, right, to the floor. And like one guy had to be the
Right.
deciding vote to tip it over into the nose.
Right.
As long as you have like strength in numbers and nobody calls you out on it, nobody forces a vote, you can pretend that you would have totally voted for that.
Well, that's my point. That's what I said to my mom. I was like, look, she's like, but the Republicans will never, right? Like all the same stuff. And the only thing I will say this over and over and over again, Republicans posting on X or going on Fox News or getting interviewed by, some left-wing, whatever, in the Capitol and saying all the things that they won't do or that we think are ridiculous, they think they were ridiculous or whatever, is not a vote. None of that is a vote. Until we get people on the record, none of it is a vote. And it doesn't matter what you go on Fox. So yeah, it's particularly the Epstein files. So curious if we were to force that vote, who is going to go against accountability? And everyone's like, oh, the Republicans will. I'm like, right, but we don't know. Let's find out. Let's just find out. There's no harm in it, right? Yep. The ironic thing, of course, and I talk about this all the time, is just, I really don't understand how the Democrats don't see that forcing a vote and standing up big and strong and tall, right, to this whole game would help them electorally. People are jumping ship from the Democratic Party. We got more unaffiliated voters than ever because they don't stand for anything and they don't have any fight. They don't have any fight.
Just wet noodles. Just bunch of spaghetti. The lack of structure is truly astonishing. Every single time I go into an office, and I just talked with McGovern today in Massachusetts, and the staffer said, well, we don't have the votes, and we had the War Powers Act discussion and everything. And then they said, well, yeah, you should really talk to Raskin about.
Oh my gosh.
So I just want, like, for the viewers, leadership, the people chosen to lead the parties, right? These are not like official powers. All they do,
they're not breaking ranks by making a decision.
Yeah. But the culture of following is vicious in this. Like, they cannot even fathom the idea that they would do something without the permission of leadership, and leadership's permission is granted by Republicans. I mean, I think this is a really important piece of the puzzle because again, every time we talk to folks, they're like, well, bring me a Republican, right?
Oh my God.
And it's truly that the Democratic Party cannot function without a Republican giving them permission. And that really leaves me wondering, like, why are these people here?
I don't know.
What are they doing?
I don't know. And why is it that you want to go into a system where you're no longer even allowed to have an opinion? Like, is that who I want representing me? Right? Like, what if you feel really strongly about something? Oh, but I can't do it because leadership said no. Like, gosh, I'm an independent lady. I do not want anybody representing me who's like that. Right?
This is why you're not in Congress, though.
Never.
But this is the culture. The culture is, oh, I can't do that, right? Like, I am forbidden from taking that specific action. And I mean, like, back in the day, people used to throw fists on the floor of Congress. Like, people would get into literal fist fights about things that they cared about and believed in.
Yeah.
Because that was the job. The job was to show up and say, this is what I want to do. And then do the arguing, do the politicking to the people in that chamber. That is gone. We are just assuming outcomes.
All the time. And then getting really mad when our assumptions don't come to bear, right? But yeah, I don't know why they're there.
I think one of these assumptions, right? One of these assumptions that keeps coming up is that we should be grateful for the leadership that we have. I think Jeffries just gave a talk where he was basically just pointing out the audience and being like, this is your fault for not voting for Congress.
Oh, that was Cory Booker. Right? That was Cory
Booker. I'm sorry. I'm not paying attention.
Yes.
Yeah. But it was, turning it back on the voters and saying, this is your fault. You are to blame for this. And you notice I notice this, I guess. They tell us this all of the time, right? You got to get out in the streets. You
Oh
got to
yeah.
increase the pressure.
Oh
You
yeah.
got to, right? What is it that they are doing? Where
Well,
are they
that's what
using their power?
that was my shower thought today. I was thinking about the fact that, millions of Americans got out to protest. So the Americans, the people have done that bit, right? Together as a powerful force. And yet we can't have a unanimous Congress mimicking that by saying, okay, we're all going to get out. But their get out is not getting out and holding a sign. Their get out and show up is
getting out for
vote.
spring break.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I don't know. It's very depressing. It is very, very depressing going to those offices and talking to those people and hearing them say they can do everything they can do. Whew, man, it's a lot.
It is a lot, and it's a lot to come face to face with the, I would call it apathy, but I think they really have convinced themselves that this is the best way that they can.
Sorry.
we're playing with tools here. We're playing with buttons.
I was like, what is that button?
But when I talk to staffers, like I said before, just sort of the incomprehension, the lack of comprehension that they could be doing more, that they would have a responsibility to do more. I didn't realize this, but I guess staffers also swear the oath. Staffers swear the oath
Yeah.
to support and defend the Constitution, and they're currently marking up appropriations bills to direct money to certain areas of the government that may or may not exist if the executive branch tries to keep them, right? Like, it is the disconnect is so wild, where you just keep like filling out your little paperwork, and I mean, I get that it is an intense and like all-consuming job.
Yep.
But also, you got to look up sometimes, right?
Well,
Like,
and if they could all work towards the same direction, and I guess one could argue that they've chosen the War Powers Act. Okay. Is that the extent of it? Is this they seem to always have their take one shot, right? In the fall, it was the whole healthcare shutdown, which ended so poorly because of course they folded at the end of that, right? We're all together in this. We're all together in this until we're not, right? Yeah. Until we cave. So yeah, I don't know. It was an illuminating conversation I had with my mom where I explained everything about what we're doing, right? The citizens advocacy.
Well, why don't you have that conversation with us, man? Like, tell us the whole thing, put the whole thing out there. What are we
Lord.
doing?
I was on a roll last night. So I don't know if I have the brain space, but yeah, I mean, it was describing why it is that we advocate for impeachment. Everything that you did at the start of this with getting 600 people and writing a letter and getting folks connected directly to their representative. And she was like, oh, I didn't know that part. Okay. Yes. We have people connect to the offices, right to the offices, to bypass the contact form. We get into meetings with folks to say okay, now what are you going to do? And then the whole reason, of course, why we started talking to candidates is because we realized very, very quickly when you started having those meetings that they had no intention of upholding their oath of office. So it was our duty to find the people who would, and we'll stand by that all day long, right? We didn't intend to have 150 or so candidates in a coalition, right? But it's a privilege for us to do that work and really, really start to create a new political bloc in Washington that is at the outset focused on operating with some integrity and focus on real action, and then continually working towards building on that every 2 years, right? What would a Congress look like in 6 years' time if we paid attention to all 435 House districts? We didn't evaluate candidates based on how much money was in their bank account. And we didn't say that a seat wasn't worth paying attention to if it was an R plus 20, right? If we do not pay attention to every district in America, those R plus 30s are never going to be an R plus 20, an R plus 10, or a flippable seat. But that is continually what has happened for decades in the political realm. And the Democrats are not even interested in changing it, right? I mean, we could talk about Ashley Bell's race all day long, right? R plus 9 district, 40% unaffiliated voters, totally winnable in my mind, right? And the state Democratic Party, no help whatsoever. I mean, it's really that not even a social media post, not even I'm not even talking about money. I'm just You can't even put up a post that says, congratulations, Ashley Bell, and hey, North Carolina 10, here's your girl that you should help and support.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
It's there is such a stinginess, right, with opportunity. It is truly remarkable, because I just want to stress, like, there are two of us. There are two more of us that do this basically half time, and we have a number, 30 or so volunteers that help out when they can, right? And like everybody is putting in as much work as they can do to make this happen. And we have candidates in 1/4 of the races in the House. Right. Like 25% of these races have one of our courage candidates in them. And that's like 2 full-time people. The DCCC is bigger than that. They can, they should have more people and more
have money, right? And there's millions of dollars.
You can get like one person
we're broke and we're free, and there's 2 of us, right? Like 2 full-time overtime, really, people, right? 100 hours plus a week. And we've managed to do this.
We're bringing, like, we're saying, no, every playing field is worth fighting on, right? That decision is just one that people can make. You don't have to give up ground.
No, and you know what? You know what the thing is to me, because I'm the like the woo-woo person or whatever, but like, what are you saying to the people who live in those districts? What are you saying when you're only picking your top 12 races, right? And there's not even a local or state organized Dem party. You never show up in these tiny towns. You don't even, it's not even that you don't even show up. You literally don't even think about these people. You just have completely written them off. So yeah, there's no surprise to me why Trump was elected again. There's no surprising news about why we're fighting this battle right now. You know, there's nothing surprising about all the crap that he's done. I mean, I didn't think it was going to be as bad as it is. Go him.
I had such a pessimistic view, and it has still surpassed all the expectations.
Yeah,
right?
Same. I mean, he really goes above and beyond. I guess you could say good job.
Extra mile of bullshit that you got.
But I mean, it's no surprise, right? And so, I mean, oh my God, wild conversation yesterday. And I don't think that she would mind me sharing this, but we just brought on a new candidate from Louisiana, Lindsay Rubio Garcia.
Do we have her video? Because everybody should see that. That's just like she's singing our song.
Yeah, it's a great video. Anybody can go to her Instagram.
I'm gonna see if I can pull up her name.
I think
what was her last name?
It's Lindsay Rubio Garcia.
Okay.
I think it's Rubio for Congress, maybe. I'm not sure. But anyway, so Ken Martin, chair of the DNC, came to town, and she met him. And he said to her, "Give me your 30-second pitch." And she was like, "Well, which pitch do you want?" basically. And basically, what she said to him was that, you know, if the Democratic playbook does not include impeach, convict, remove, try, you know, whatever, she had a few other choice words after that, then I don't know what your message is. And he was like, well, that's, you know, we really don't think that that's a winning message. And we really just need to stick with affordability.
What?
We're not going to, we are not interested in engaging with that language. And we just don't think that that's a good idea. And the Dem messaging is about affordability. And she's all like, yeah, couldn't it be both? Couldn't it be both? Could we talk about how life is unaffordable and also the fact that we need to get rid of the president?
So Ken Martin is relatively young, right? Like, and there is relatively connected to the rest of the world. Like, he has not been in office for 50 years. There's a big fight over who was going to lead, right? Like, relatively close to the ground in terms of like having how long you've been inside the political machine.
Sure.
And that even that person, even the new blood, is too afraid to address the issue at hand is incredible. I think I figured out how to add her.
Every avenue at my disposal to flip all of your seats, like Jesus flipped the tables at the temple, and that is a promise. My name is Lindsay Garcia. You may not know me today, but I hope by the time that I'm finished, you will remember how much of a problem I can become for each and every one of you. You have ignored the voices of lawyers, judges, advocates like myself and Mr. Duncan himself, and I've watched you ignore the will of tens of thousands of voters in New Orleans. People far more patient than me, people with far more measurement than myself. And I need you to understand this. If I am the one standing here now, it is because every other reasonable voice has already been dismissed. We saw a man who was wrongfully convicted, who lost nearly 30 years of his life, who used the law, your law, to prove his innocence. And instead of respecting that outcome, you are enabling someone to try to eliminate the very office he was elected to hold. Do not mistake what this looks like, because it does not look like efficiency. It looks like the retaliation that it is. And I'm going to shift, because part of this message isn't even for any of you here. It's for the people in Louisiana who are going to be watching this message. Do not be discouraged. Do not lose hope. Do not allow them to convince yourself that your voice does not matter, because the very existence of this legislation here before you proved that it does, because you spoke, and now they are trying to silence you. So I need you to fight like everything that you love is on the line, and fight like the tree of liberty is on fire, because I guarantee you it very much is. To this committee and to every member of the legislature, hear me clearly. I came to remind you all that every single seat in this body is up for re-election, and to understand it clearly, you're not just voting on the bill, you're defining yourself for history and posterity, and the world will be watching. I will come back with the same righteous indignation that has always risen when power like this forgets who it serves. And I will use every avenue at my disposal to flip all of your seats like Jesus flipped the tables at the temple, and that is a promise.
Okay. I love her so much. There's not even words to describe. Like, every single piece of this is something that I have done in conversations already, right? If I am on a podcast, I speak directly to Congress and tell them that you cannot stop us. Your theory of change is all wrong, right? The patience running out. There are people who are designed to like fit into the system and like play nice with folks and coax. That is not me. If I am here, there is a serious problem.
Same. I've got a very, very nice life. I do not need to do this, right? Like, if I am engaged in this, that means it's got to be worth it to me, because time is precious. We got one life on earth, right?
One life to live.
And no, I love everything about it. It's literally courage on display, not mincing words. Give it all you got. And those are the type of people that we need running for office, right? Those are the type of people. And I would feel like, oh yeah, I know she's going to fight for me. If I align with someone who has this persona, great, perfect, because I know they're going to fight for me and they're not going to back down. These people, a lot of these people are going to get into office, and you're going to get squirrely right from the get-go, because you got the party leadership telling you things, and there's decorum, and there's rules, and there's things you're trying to learn. And you know what? You're going to feel real insecure at the beginning. Right. And when people feel really insecure because they're learning,
I don't know if Lindsay's gonna
when they're no, but I think like in general, people who get into Congress, and then, maybe you lose your voice a little bit because you don't want to make waves. You got to learn some things, but you can't stay quiet forever like everybody has.
Okay,
right.
But I want to talk about this. Once you are a representative, you're a representative.
I know.
That's your job. You are equals now, and you have the same power that everybody else in this body has. Like that, this is something that I think is missing now in the conversation, because these leaders, right, these little fictional leaders with no power except the social power, they rely on you thinking that you can't do it, or you're not able to do it, you don't have the backing to do it. And the truth is that you have all of the same powers that the rest of the colleagues in the chamber have. And in our case, right, with the courage candidates, what you end up having is a group of people that know each other, that have worked together, that have discussed policy positions together before they even get in, right? So you can't pick them off the herd that way, right? And you can't grind them up in the machine or anything like that. But this is just feels like just another example of having a backbone and saying, no, I know right from wrong. I do not need to play this ridiculous game, right? I am here now to do the work my constituents sent me here to do. So let's get started.
Yeah, I mean, I just keep thinking about Madeline Dean's quote at the press conference, when what was it? I don't know. Time is irrelevant. Last week or
2
something. And
weeks, I think.
someone had asked her about if they were going to pursue impeachment. And, you know, she just says, I got to consult leadership. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Why? Why can't people have an opinion, right? Why can't they have an opinion for the 750,000 people that they represent instead of doing what the party wants? And that's what, if we could break one thing, that's what I would break, right?
That's what we're working on. Well, and
I mean, it is.
I went to Madeline Dean's office. I had an appointment last week with the staffer, and just like when I went to Clyburn's office, the staffer sat me down and said, you know, we're really busy with appropriations. We're really, really busy figuring out where all this money in the government should go. And like, you know, just stepping back a little bit for context, this is the same government where the president is currently suing his own Department of Justice for some ungodly amount of money, right? Will settle with himself and just pocket it, I guess, because that's the world we live in.
He will settle with himself. He'll be like, I'll offer you 500. Oh, I want 400. Okay, let's settle on 450.
Whatever the deal is made, this is the only time he's actually going to be able to pull the art of the deal and come out ahead, right? Because he's working both sides.
He's working both sides.
But the staffer, that is all that staffer can do. They are full. There is no additional.
Okay, can we just talk about regular human beings for a second?
I would love
to talk about the fact that every single day you have got to juggle 50 different things at the same time. Okay. Do you know how many lists I have in my brain? I've got the running list of things that we've run out of that we need to get at the grocery store. I've got the running list of overdue bills to be paid. I've got the fact that my check engine light has been on for 9 months. I'm like, when am I going to deal with that? Right. I got a kid that has to get home from college. I got another kid who has to go to college. I got wait, did I put the money in that bank account? Did I transfer the funds? Oh, I got a broken tooth. I need to get to the dentist, right? I'm just saying, we all juggle so many. The average American juggles so many things in a day. And then, you know, you got to go to the gas pump and spend $84 like I did today to fill up your tank. So now you got to worry about how much you can. These people can only pick one thing at a time to work on in an office. Basically, what I'm trying to say, Kira, is a representative has assistants and staffers.
Oh, and extra departments to help.
Sarah has no assistants or staffers.
No.
And there is a lot to be done in a house of 5 people. 4 of them are men, so there's a lot to be done. So I'm just saying, I wish I had some assistants and staffers to focus on all of the other areas of my life. Why do they consistently only pick one? We can only focus on one thing. They don't even do that one thing well.
And they are currently doing it for an administration that feels totally okay ignoring any rule that Congress makes, which is the thing that gets to me. And I mean, I know you have children, and I'm sure you have mopped the floor and then had some kid walk in with mud all over their shoes. I know that happens, right?
Yeah.
But when it comes to something like establishing the financial future of an entire country, I feel like you should solve the part where they're going to ignore it before you complete the work.
Correct. I mean, it just, to us, it's such a no-brainer. I like to deal with the biggest problem, right? I like to deal with I'm a root cause person, right? Someone is in pain, someone's suffering. Why don't we have enough money in the bank account? Let me just get at the root cause. Oh, you spent $500 at the liquor store this month. That's a problem, right? Get to the root cause. And they don't want to do that. I'm going to change gears for a second. Do you know what I was thinking about today? Impeachment is not revenge.
Oh, God.
Does that sound right to you?
Yeah, I don't. Okay, I know you've said this before, right? Impeachment is just so that we can move on, man.
Yeah, but I think first, I think people think it's just going to be a failed thing because it hasn't worked before. But also then the answer to that is simple, because history doesn't mean future things won't happen, right? So
don't get a pass on speeding just because
whatever.
they gave you a ticket once, right? It's not
right.
Yeah.
Right. But I have been thinking a lot about the fact that I think people think of it as revenge. Even people who are for it, I think they use it as a way to say, yeah, we got to get revenge for this guy, right? Like it's somehow personal. It's some sort of personal tool that the country can use to get back at him. I don't think about that at all. I just think you're bad at
Oh
this
my God.
job,
Yeah.
right?
I mean,
You gotta
let's be
go.
real honest. There is no amount of justice that can be applied at this point. We are watching
No.
the dismantling of massive institutions. Millions of people have been harmed. Hundreds of thousands of people are dead after USAID pulled
Yeah.
out, right? There is nothing that resembles justice on the horizon. And this is only a way to limit the harm and ensure that this particular harm doesn't return to office. But that is like the starting line for the
Yeah.
rest of the work that we have to do.
That's right.
Because we're talking about root causes, right? The
I know.
problem is that our government does not listen to us. And so we have to force them to do that.
I
And
know.
that is a huge, huge undertaking. Like we have uprooted our very nice lives with basically now a six-year plan
Yeah.
to make the folks in charge of this government fight for their seat every single time they have an election for the rest of their life. That is the plan.
Yeah, until they want to be part of the solution to put power back in the hands of the people, right?
Until they have town halls, until they tell us how many conversations they have about which topic at what time, until you can point to something that tells us that they are listening to their constituents about the issues that matter to them. And since that doesn't exist right now, apparently we have to build it. And that is the plan. Like there's so much more to do than impeachment, not just dismissing it or anything like that. But that is the smallest and probably the clearest piece of the work that needs to be done. It's written down in the Constitution. You got instructions. All you got to do is do them, right? Like that's not a problem. The rest of it, figuring out how to make a 250-year-old government that was kludged together in the first place and has now been sledgehammered, clear out the rubble and get it working again. Oh my, that's so enormous. Like, please, let's do step 0 so we can start moving on step 1.
That's right. That's right. I mean, it is daunting. And I find myself thinking like, okay, we need to have some concept of what our wins are going to be so that we can keep the energy to keep doing this work, right? We can, because it's really difficult. It's really difficult. And we're really tired and it's really depressing sometimes. But I mean, the wins, of course, for us will be electorally for these candidates. But going forward, we need to have a concerted effort to spread this message and this vision and have people really understand. Like, I hope that folks stop and think a little bit about that term responsive government and be like, oh yeah, do I think my representative knows what our community needs or wants? And how would I even know? Most of the time, again, it's just they assume. Yeah, they just assume. They don't want to have to follow bills and votes religiously. And I get it. Like you want to vote someone in and you want to assume that they're going to.
That's why we have them, right? To trust that they'll take care of it.
Yeah.
And you should be informed in that the person that you're voting should have good discernment, should, accurately represent your needs and work towards those. And that piece has been completely dismantled. So I think right now, the wins that I'm holding on to are the fact that we are finding good people and partners. Like today I had a conversation with Walter Ryan, who used to write fantasy novels and is now just interviewing candidates full time because he's seen the complicity of the media and pushing like this sort of 2-party narrative and that's it. And he wants to break through it. A gentleman named Nick Perro, who does Banner and Backbone work. He's a disabled veteran and he makes space to insist that things don't have to be this grim and ugly. Like we can build better systems. And then Will Fullwood was also in the conversation. He does anti-racism work. And he also wants to bring those candidates into those conversations really early on. And man, as soon as I talked with Walter the very first time, he started connecting me with people and was like, reach out. This is the community that we're building. And he has shown up every single day to do the work. And I mean, the same with Move to Amend, right? Folks are probably familiar with Move to Amend. They've been around for a really long time. They have legislation. They have a pledge. Our candidates are going to take it, and then they're going to tell people about them. And every single time we speak with these folks, we can see like the dedication and the competence. Oh God, the competence. It's so sexy. I love it.
And people who stand on something, right? Who are working towards and fighting, like, okay, Walter and the media, they understand and they want to spread the word. But people like Move to Amend or other people who are starting other organizations or doing other work that is principled and is purposeful. And they're not just going around trying to rally people with no clear path forward, right? They stand on business.
Principled and purposeful. I think that's a t-shirt or something, right? Because I mean, this is what we end up with, and I'm just going to go ahead and throw Indivisible out there, right? One of our volunteers has worked with Indivisible for a long time, and now she works with us because they are not doing anything. They are gathering, which is a start, but the demands are not being made, and the connection between the people and their representatives are not being restored. And so that purposeful action, it remains the litmus test. And I'm just so glad that we're finding people that are actually doing that right now.
You know, you and I and this organization for months, we have continually had a vision, re-engineered every step of the way when we needed to. And we have a very, very clear path of where we're headed, right? It's messy because we just keep adding to the vision every single time we have a refocusing meeting. We just add more to our plate. But like, I have a vision of a government that works in literally for the people. And you're going to get candidates all over this country. And you'll see them on your social media feed talking about a government that's by the people, works for the people. But that's great. That's still just a campaign slogan until you really have an understanding of how that happens. You can't just say it and then get elected to Congress and then get brought into the machine and be scooped up by the establishment, right? That's not going to work. So it really has to be a consistent, concerted effort for a different government, a different way the government operates for the people. And also, it would just be awesome to know that you could, I don't know, contact your representative's office and the staffer, the customer service agent was like happy to get your phone call and thanked you for sending in your message, and you were sure that they were going to pass it along. And then maybe, I don't know, if enough people passed along the same message, the representative actually responded to you in a way that was meaningful and not just some dumb form letter that was literally intended to make you feel like shit, which you and I have read plenty of those, right? People send us those letters all the time. And what they're doing is, we talked about this a little bit in the last episode of Kira and Sarah Yap. But what all of those letters say to me is exactly what you always say, which is they know better than us. They're not respecting the reason that we wrote them to begin with. And you know, the first line will always be like, thank you for contacting the office. Bullshit, right? You're writing this letter so that you can be one of the good guys. And by the end of the letter, the little form letter, you always are made to feel small, right? Like that, don't worry, we've got it covered. And your issue really isn't all that important to us because we're doing this instead. I mean, people need to be seen and heard.
Yeah, sometimes they don't even refer to the thing you're talking about, right? Most often what we get is someone saying, well, I think this is in response to the email I sent.
Yeah.
But maybe not, because they can't tell. The form letter is that generic, you know?
Yeah.
Also, Graciela, I'm very glad to see you say treason there, because I'm just going to pop this up. This is the article of impeachment that I think we should be going after. I know corruption is probably more popular or more blatant, I guess, and obstruction of justice is going to be the most popular one by far, but treason is the crime. The man is assembling men to revolutionize the government by force. He's done it with paramilitary forces, with ICE. He's done it with the National Guard in DC. And he has done it with just federal forces deployed to fight U.S. institutions like the Institute of Peace. That is what is happening. And I'll go ahead and drop the link in the I'll drop the link in the chat for that article of impeachment. You can send it to your representative and share it with them, because that is what we need to address.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is kind of funny. I remember starting this. With last year, and at that time, people were so afraid. They were terrified.
Yeah.
They were terrified they were going to be put on a list. They were terrified Trump was going to reach in and turn off their pension. They were so afraid that if they did something, there would be retaliation. And we hear it now from Congress, right? Like they're afraid that doing something will somehow make this worse, make the guy that's trying to fight the Pope bolder.
Right.
Ridiculous, right? And now I am out here putting my like whole face on the internet along with you, right? Talking about like,
I'm not afraid at all. Right.
Yeah.
Not afraid at all. Like, but that's also, it's also because not only because we've been doing it so long that we are really convicted, right? We've seen all the bad stuff. We've followed it all along the way, but also because we're not so alone anymore, right?
That's
like
great.
there's plenty of people who think like us that he should be impeached. And so
there's more every day, man. There's more every day coming around saying, well, I guess this is a bridge too far. We got to do something about this.
Yeah.
Most recent was Ralph Nader and Robert Reich and all of these big names that have just really stayed away from the idea of impeachment until it just became undeniable. And this is the thing. We haven't ever been wrong. We've just been early. That's it.
Yeah, we've been early. You know how I think about it sometimes when people don't want to talk about it because they think it's just unpopular, right? Impeachment's unpopular because it failed. It's got a bad rap, right? But like, how many things were unpopular 10 years ago that are like popular again? So I just feel like that's all we have to do, right? Like we need to bring Keds sneakers back or something. But it's like, that's what like culturally everybody's all down on, like, oh, that's ridiculous. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. Like those pants, those like balloon pants that we wore 20 years ago, they're back in style. Like things get like popular again. So that's what we're going to do with impeachment. I'm going to make impeachment sexy, make it cool, make voting cool. I want to make voting even cooler than impeachment, because guess what? You get both. If you vote, you also get impeachment, because impeachment primaries are here.
Yep, this is correct. We do have to figure out how to make voting like truly representative of the action it is, which is like you get to decide the fate of the country. That's wild. That
I know. Should we make it like a costume party or something? We should be like dress up and go. Like we got to make something. Maybe it's got to be performative. Maybe we've got to start initiating like primary house parties, right?
Everybody show up in like a flag-based outfit, sequin.
Yeah. And then go have some margaritas with your friends afterwards. Like make it a party, right? Like we got to do
that's
something.
A good holiday. I would do that. Yeah.
I would do it. Totally. Primary parties.
Oh, that's a good one, actually. That's a nice little alliteration there. I like it.
What's up, Eleanor?
We're talking about planning a party for the primary. So if you know when your primary is, shout that out. And if you have a plan to vote, or who is running in it, also shout that out, because we have realized that the media just doesn't mention certain candidates that are running. Like they just leave them off for no discernible reason.
Oh yeah. Oh no. They'll just like mention the top line person, and then like maybe on the very last line it'll be like, also running in this race is like
yeah, and no link or nothing, right? Anyway, you can find all the Courage candidates at couragefordemocracy.com. That is where all of the pro-impeachment, pro-democracy candidates live. There may be other people talking about impeachment in their races, but if they are not a Courage candidate, they have not committed to putting articles of impeachment to the floor of the House when they're elected to office. They have not made that commitment. Oh, heck yeah. Nice
Is
job.
that our Eleanor? Is this our Eleanor? Our volunteer Eleanor?
I don't know. You're outing someone here. I'm not sure. But I'm really proud of you, Eleanor, for knowing the primary. Yes.
We need courage candidates.
And
We need a
if
courage
you
candidate.
guys know
Right.
of a candidate that's running,
Mhm.
send them to us. We're very, very accessible. There's a Become a Courage candidate link on Courage for Democracy. You can email us at Kira and
Sorry, Eleanor. Sorry.
I love it. That's fantastic. Well, hello to you and Chase. It's amazing. Yeah, I'm stoked that you're here and you're hanging out. And just a shout out to Eleanor for being just a wicked badass at all of the work that she does for us. It's the crew of people like Eleanor that make this all possible, because Sarah and I are mostly insane at this point. So
it's pretty amazing, right? Isn't
Yeah.
it pretty amazing that we have a group of 40 people who have worked on this for a year? I mean, yeah, some people come and go or whatever. We have 40 people who are all pulling in the same direction. We have built an absolute machine working in 20 different directions all at the same time. It's a lot.
I'm really proud of everybody and also extremely tired.
I know. I mean, come on now.
Bags under my eyes. I have the light shining directly into my eyes because I can't take it if it's not there. All right.
Okay, we have just a few minutes. What else do we need to solve or get on record before we finish today? What do we need to solve?
I am not sure. What we need to solve. I think we need to solve maybe the cohesion question. How do we present all of this in a way that is comprehensive and feels like a complete narrative? And part of that is just like the extreme mess of navigating realities that are made by people, right? They're just really hard to do. And there's 1,000 loose ends. But I think going back to the core touchstones of like responsive government, by and for the people, which is just such an obvious, like someone should write that down somewhere, right? It's such a good idea. Like just refocusing on that every time we get distracted, I think will probably help a little. I'm hoping it will help going forward.
Yeah. I mean, it was wild going back to the conversation with my mother to explain everything to her and have her be like, could you say all that on social media? And I'm like, man, it is hard to get the whole complete picture out there, right? Like, we're not just the impeachment people, and we are not just the candidate people. We are we are literally moving in a lane that is so outside of the regular lanes that are pushing in the political, like, we do not aim and aspire to be involved in this for the rest of our lives.
We might be, though, because we're building something real big.
I know, it is so big. It's so big. Anyway.
Yeah. Can't believe it has been like an hour. We had a lot to get out
so fast.
Yeah,
we're a couple of yappers. Nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely. I think that's it for today for me. We're going to be back at 8:30 with Sam, our constitutional to talk about impeachment and talk about theory of change for the government and how that theory should involve listening to the people, because that is a theme. But yeah, in the comments, as you guys are watching this, finishing it up, tell us what you want to hear from us. We're going to do this every couple of days. It helps us stay on track. It helps us remember that like we are actually accomplishing things and doing them and moving forward, because we are in the weeds all the time, you guys.
No, I think this is really good that we do this, right? Like, it doesn't even matter if 30 minutes of 60 is kind of, off the cuff or whatever, but this is a process, and making the country was a process, and the process of writing the Constitution took years, and it was messy, and this, that, and the other. And that's it. We're doing this on display. We are never going to be these people who show up and be like, we have written the perfect document and now we're all going to follow it, and you should too, and do it our way. Or I am not interested in that. It's not how
from on high.
No, it's not. I'm not interested in that, right? Like, life change, culture changes, the money in your bank account changes. You got to learn how to roll with it.
that's how you know you're alive, right? Perfect is
Yeah.
dead. So, all right, folks, we will see you later tonight, and again later on in this week. We have also a candidate roundtable tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern, and I will be there for that. Sarah, thank you for everything you do. You are awesome. I'm glad to be building this with you.
Party like a rock star. I'll see you later.
Sounds good.
Bye.